Hey guys, in this video we're going to be talking about exponential growth and decay. And when we're talking about exponential growth or decay, we have one formula, and that is A equals P times plus or minus R raised to the power of T. Now, don't get stressed by all the variables. We're going to be talking through what each one of these variables mean. So A stands for amount. P stands for principal. And I'll talk about what these mean in a second, so don't get too stressed. R means rate, and T stands for time. So amount is basically your total amount, like what you have at the end, or what you have at the beginning is your principal. What you have at the end is your amount. An easy way to remember this is A is an amount which begins with a vowel, and so does end. End starts with the letter E. They both start with vowels, so that kind of matches up. And then principal is what you have at the beginning. Beginning starts with the letter B. They're both consonants, so that way you can kind of remember them. Rate is usually given to you in a percentage form in the problem. So these are all word problems. So it will be given to you in a percent form. This is usually what you're adding to your principal amount. And time is over the duration of some time. So I think that is time and rate are pretty self-explanatory. But let's check out a word problem. So here we have Arha, who earns, and I'm going to highlight as we go, $4,500. She has this money. So this is our principal or beginning amount, and invest it into an account that earns 2% interest. And earns is also pretty important. And I'll tell you why earns is important later. But this is our percent or our rate. This is our rate. And this is annually, so earns 2% interest annually for 3 years. So 3 years. How much will she have at the end of the 3 years? So we can highlight either one of these 3 years, but this is our time. 3 years is our time. One thing to note is that our formula, time, comes in years. So that's pretty nice. So let me just move this down and bring this down as well to the question. So we have our formula here labeled and everything. So we're trying to find the end amount. We are trying to find the end amount. So our end amount is A. So we're trying to solve for A, question mark. We have our principal value of $4,500. So 4,500. We have our R value, which is given in a percent. So all we're going to do is divide that by 100. So that gives us 0.02. And then we have our time, which is 3 years. And since this is given in years, time, in the equation, we can use the number 3. So let's plug this in to our equation. So here we have our principal amount, 4,500 times 1. Now we have this plus or minus thing, and we can only use 1. Since she's adding to her end amount, to her principal amount, to get a higher end amount, we are going to use the plus sign. So plus, our rate is 0.02, our R value is 0.02, so 0.02, and our time is 3 years. So if I put this into my calculator, I'm going to first do 1 plus 0.02, which is 1 point, let's write this down, equals A. So I'm going to get this to equal 1.02, the third, 4,500, just bringing everything down. So once I've combined that, I can do the exponent. So, or I can do 1.02 times 1.02 times 1.02, which gets me to a really long decimal, but I'm going to round to about 4 decimal places. So that gives me, this whole thing gives me 1.0612, and then times 4,500 equals A. And then last but not least, we're going to multiply 4,500 by this number. So times 4,500, we get A equals $4,775, right? So we're going to have to round to 2 decimal places, and 44 cents. So our decimal value was actually 436, but I'm going to round up, and we get $4,775.44. Don't forget the dollar sign. So this is the amount she will have at the end of 3 years.